The Ghost That Could Not Boo by Darlene Howell. Once upon a time, in a misty, moonlit land filled with cobweb trees and spooky winds, there lived a little ghost named Wisp. He wasn't like the other ghosts in Boo-Ville. While all the other ghosts could float through walls, rattle chains, and most importantly, let out a perfect boo, Wisp had a small problem. He couldn't boo. No matter how hard Wisp tried, his voice would come out as a squeak, a sigh, or a hiccup, but never that sharp, crisp boo that ghosts are famous for. This made him very sad. The other young ghosts would float around the village, practicing their boos with ease. "Boo!" called out his friend Shiver, soaring past him. "Boo!" echoed Shade, swirling in circles through the trees. Wisp sighed and gave it another shot. He took a deep breath, puffed out his tiny ghost chest, and opened his mouth wide. But what came out was nothing but a tiny whisper. "Boo!" Wisp's eyes widened in disappointment. "Oh no, not again," he mumbled. Shiver floated over to him. "It's okay, Wisp. You'll get it one day." "I've been trying and trying, but I just can't seem to do it," Wisp said sadly. "What if I'm the only ghost in the world who can't boo?" "You just need practice," Shade said, trying to cheer him up. "Come on, let's visit Old Gloomy. He knows everything about being a ghost. Maybe he can help." Old Gloomy was the wisest ghost in the land. As they approached, Old Gloomy was floating near his tree, humming a slow, eerie tune. "Mr. Gloomy," Shade called. "Wisp has a problem. He can't boo." Old Gloomy turned his wise eyes toward Wisp. "Can't boo, you say?" His voice was deep and slow, like a low rumble of thunder. "That is quite a dilemma for a ghost." "I've tried everything," Wisp said, feeling small. "But no matter how hard I try, it just doesn't come out right." Said Old Gloomy. "The boo comes from within, little one. It's not just about sound. It's about believing in your own spookiness." "My own spookiness?" Wisp tilted his head. "Come along with me," said Old Gloomy. "Yes," said Old Gloomy. "A ghost's boo comes from confidence. You must believe you are spooky enough to make others jump. Do you believe you can be spooky, Wisp?" Wisp looked down at the ground. "I don't know. I don't feel very spooky. I'm small, and my voice is too soft." "Being spooky isn't about size or loudness," Old Gloomy said gently. "It's about knowing in your heart that you are a ghost. Come now, let's give it another try." Wisp closed his eyes, taking a deep breath. He felt the cold breeze on his face, heard the soft crackle of dry leaves, and imagined himself as part of the mist that floated through the forest. "Now," Old Gloomy said, his voice deep and soothing, "give me your best boo." Wisp took a deep breath, but just as he was about to let out his ghostly call, a squirrel darted out from behind a tree. Wisp jumped in surprise, and out came a strange sound. "Who?" Old Gloomy smiled warmly. "A little closer. Remember, Wisp, it's not about the sound. It's about the belief." Wisp tried again, but this time his voice faltered. He sighed deeply. "I don't think I can do it," he said. "Why don't we practice tomorrow night?" Shade suggested. Wisp nodded, though he wasn't sure anything would change. That night, as Wisp floated sadly through the woods, a voice called out to him. "Help!" Wisp darted toward the sound and saw a little bat tangled in a bush. "Hold on," Wisp said, floating down to help the bat. Gently, he untangled the frightened creature. "Are you okay?" "Thanks to you, I am," said the bat, flapping its tiny wings. "I was so scared." "You don't need to be scared anymore," Wisp said softly. The bat smiled. "You're much braver than you think, Wisp." The bat's words made Wisp feel something deep inside. For the first time, he believed he was more than a ghost who couldn't boo. He was brave and kind, and maybe, just maybe, he could be spooky too. The next night, Wisp floated back to Old Gloomy's tree. Shiver and Shade were there, eager to see what would happen. "Are you ready, Wisp?" Old Gloomy asked. Wisp took a deep breath, closed his eyes, and thought of how brave he had been the night before. He wasn't just a ghost who couldn't boo. He was a ghost who could help others, a ghost who could be spooky in his own way. And then, without even thinking, he let out the loudest, clearest boo he had ever heard. Shade, Shiver, and Old Gloomy cheered, and Wisp smiled from ear to ear. From that day on, Wisp became the best booer in Boo-Ville, not because he had the loudest voice, but because he believed in himself. The end.